1892, Homestead, Pennsylvania, July 6. 300 armed Pinkerton detectives arrive by barge to break a steel workers' strike. Shots are fired. 10 men die. Dozens are wounded. A steel mill, owned by Andrew Carnegie. But Carnegie isn't there. He's on vacation, in Scotland. Years later, Carnegie would spend $350 million building libraries, funding universities, and promoting world peace. He wrote, "The man who dies rich dies disgraced." And he gave away 90% of his fortune. But the Homestead workers never forgot. This is the story of Andrew Carnegie, the poorest immigrant who became America's richest man, built a steel empire through ruthless efficiency, and then attempted something unprecedented: to buy redemption. From $1.20 a week to $480 million. From rags to riches to libraries. The question isn't whether Carnegie succeeded. It's whether giving away billions can erase how you made them. November 25, 1835. Dunfermline, Scotland. Andrew Carnegie is born in a weaver's cottage. His father is a handloom weaver struggling against industrialization. The power loom arrives. Jobs vanish. The family is desperate. Wages, $1.20 a week. But Carnegie is ambitious, relentlessly so. He teaches himself telegraph operation, gets a job as a telegraph messenger, works his way up to telegraph operator. Then comes the break that changes everything. Thomas Scott, superintendent of the Pennsylvania Railroad, notices Carnegie's talent and hires him as his personal assistant. Scott becomes Carnegie's mentor. He teaches him about business, about investments, about insider deals. Carnegie learns fast. He meets everyone, sees everything, learns how government contracts work, and he starts investing. By his early 30s, Carnegie is wealthy. He sees the future, and the future is steel. In the early 1870s, Carnegie co-founds his first steel company near Pittsburgh. His timing is perfect. America is building. It's efficiency. Carnegie uses the Bessemer process, a revolutionary method that mass-produces steel cheaper and faster than ever before. His motto: watch the costs, and the profits will take care of themselves. But his real strategy is vertical integration. Carnegie doesn't just own steel mills. He owns the iron ore mines, the coal mines, the limestone quarries, the ships that transport materials, the railroads that move steel, the coke ovens that fuel the furnaces. By 1897, Carnegie controls almost the entire steel industry in the United States. Every stage of production. No middlemen. Maximum profit. By 1900, Carnegie Steel's annual profits are $40 million. Carnegie's personal share, $25 million. He's the richest man in America, but there's a darkness in the empire. Carnegie's mills run 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, grueling, dangerous work. He preaches about the dignity of labor. But his workers live in poverty while he lives in castles. And then comes Homestead. Summer 1892. Carnegie's steel mill in Homestead, Pennsylvania. Workers are unionized. They want fair wages. Carnegie's general manager, Henry Clay Frick, decides to break the union. He announces wage cuts. The workers strike. Frick locks them out. Then calls in 300 armed Pinkerton detectives. July 6th. The Pinkertons arrive by barge on the river. The striking workers are waiting. Shots are fired. A battle erupts. At least 10 men die. Many more are wounded. The state militia is called in. Union leaders are arrested. Replacement workers are hired. After 5 months, the strike ends with the union's defeat. The labor movement at Pittsburgh area steel mills is crippled for the next 4 decades. And Carnegie? He's vacationing in Scotland, at his castle. Conveniently absent. Carnegie later claims he would have handled it differently. That Frick went too far. But Frick was acting on Carnegie's orders. Everyone knows it. The Homestead Strike destroys Carnegie's reputation. Newspapers call him a hypocrite. Workers call him worse. Carnegie had written essays about the nobility of labor, about the responsibilities of wealth. But when his workers asked for dignity, he sent armed men. The stark contrast between Carnegie's public pronouncements on social responsibility and his willingness to resort to violence and intimidation to protect his profits was exposed. Carnegie would never shake the stain, but he would try. 1889. 3 years before Homestead, Carnegie publishes an essay, The Gospel of Wealth. His central argument: the man who dies rich dies disgraced. Carnegie argues that wealthy industrialists have a moral duty to distribute their surplus wealth for the improvement of mankind, but not through handouts. Carnegie opposes charity that creates dependency. Instead, he believes in funding institutions that help people help themselves: libraries, universities, research, education. Carnegie writes, "The rich should use their wealth to help enrich society." It's a radical idea. Rockefeller hoards his wealth during his lifetime. Carnegie wants to give it all away before he dies. But after Homestead, critics see the gospel of wealth differently. Is it genuine philosophy? Or public relations to salvage a reputation? Carnegie preached about moral obligations while his mills became battlegrounds. Was he trying to atone? Or just trying to look good? Maybe both. In 1901, Carnegie sells Carnegie Steel to J.P. Morgan for $480 million. At age 66, he retires from business. Carnegie eventually gives away $350 million, equivalent to billions in today's dollars, about 90% of his wealth. His focus: education. Carnegie builds 2,509 public libraries around the world. Why libraries? Because Carnegie was self-educated. As a boy, a local benefactor let him borrow books. It changed his life. But it wasn't just libraries. Carnegie's philanthropy included Carnegie Institute of Pittsburgh, museums, science; Carnegie Mellon University; Carnegie Hall, classical music, New York; donations to support black colleges and education. He funded over 7,600 church organs worldwide. He gave $120 million to establish the Carnegie Corporation of New York. He was 83 when he died in 1919. He had given almost everything away. But here's the question that haunts his legacy. Did it work? Walk into any Carnegie library today. There are still hundreds of them across America. Beautiful buildings, free books, knowledge accessible to everyone. Carnegie's dream. But talk to the descendants of Homestead workers. Ask them about Carnegie. They remember the violence, the broken unions, the 12-hour shifts. Carnegie's legacy remains complex and contested. He exploited workers, then built libraries. He crushed unions, then promoted education. He made his fortune through brutal capitalism, then tried to redistribute it through enlightened philanthropy. Was he a hypocrite, a saint, or something more complicated? Maybe Carnegie understood something profound. You can't undo the past, but you can try to balance the scales. Carnegie wrote, "The amassing of wealth is one of the worst species of idolatry." So he amassed wealth ... and then gave it away. He built an empire on exploitation, then used that empire's profits to build something lasting. Carnegie and Rockefeller both became billionaires through monopoly, but they ended differently. Rockefeller's companies still dominate energy markets. His wealth continues through descendants. Carnegie gave it all away, deliberately, systematically. The man who dies rich dies disgraced. Carnegie died in 1919. His fortune was gone, distributed to thousands of institutions. He kept his word. But did he buy redemption? Every Carnegie library says yes. The ghosts of Homestead say no, and maybe that's the point. True legacy isn't simple. It's not hero or villain. It's the messy, complicated reality that one person can be both. Carnegie proved you can give away a fortune, but you can't give away the way you made it. If this made you think, subscribe. Next video. 2008. The crisis that proved we learned nothing. Drop one word in the comments if you felt this. Legacy. See you on the other side.